Reset, color.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, color. Order, color. Move.
Order!
Go. Reset, on. Order, on. Right turn, mark.
All uniformed personnel, at ease.
Everyone, please be seated.
Class, seats.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, class. You finally made it. You're here right now. And I have to say, I told you earlier, you looked fantastic out there on the grinder this morning. Very impressive. So, congratulations. My name is Donna Twyford, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's graduation, the graduation of Class 1156. At this time, I would like to introduce you to the onstage ceremony party. And starting on my far right is Jason Owens. He's Chief Patrol Agent of the United States Border Patrol Academy. Next to him is Matthew Densmore, Assistant Chief Patrol Agent, United States Border Patrol Academy, and Robert Smoot, Program Specialist, Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. But we are also honored to have two very special guests with us today. Assistant Commissioner Christopher Hall and Deputy Assistant Commissioner Paul Baker. Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us here today. Well, next I think we have to recognize the staff, because I think we all know that without your dedicated staff, none of you would be sitting here today. So staff members, when I call your name, please stand and remain standing. From our Operations Training Department, Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Rohan Godson and Stacy Brooks. Border Patrol Agent Eric Cantu. Spanish Training Department, Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Gabriel Longoria and Luis Morancio. Physical Techniques Department, Supervisor Border Patrol Agent Kyle Gaziano and Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Marvin Martinez. Firearms Training Department, Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Eric Jimenez and Border Patrol Agent Emmanuel Laredo. Drivers Training Department, Supervisory Border Patrol Agents Lee Fitzpatrick and Miguel Garza. Tactics Training Department Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Juan Manuel Carrion and Sean Plaster. And Training Technician Dana Hernandez Ware. Thank you very much. Please be seated. And the final group that I'd like to recognize today are some other special guests. The Border Patrol Academy allows family members and influential persons the opportunity to present badges to their loved ones and their mentees. When I call your name, if you would please stand and remain standing. Border Patrol Agent Paul Delgado Sr., 18 years of service. Border Patrol Agent Thomas Hammond, 21 years of service. Border Patrol Assistant Chief Leticia Camarillo, 25 years of service. Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Roberto Gonzalez Jr., 14 years of service. Border Patrol Agent Garrett London, 9 years of service. Border Patrol Agent Christopher Cabrera, 19 years of service. Border Patrol Agent Daniel Crum, 13 years of service. Thank you very much. Each graduating class selects one of its members to address the audience during the graduation ceremony. I'm never really sure if this is an honor or whether they're setting the poor person up. But either way, Class 1156 has selected Border Patrol Agent Alfonso Garay. At this time, I'd like to ask Agent Garay to come forward, please.
Good morning. My name is Alfonso Garay, and I'm honored to be speaking today for our Class 1156. I want to thank Chief Owens and his staff for coming out and showing us support on this very special day. I want to give a special thanks to our families, because without them, graduating from this academy wouldn't be possible for some of us. They have provided us with unimaginable support, motivation, care for our children and our homes while we have been away. We wish our families were here, but unfortunately, they cannot be. So thank you from all of us. After being delayed for 6 months due to COVID, we finally received the news that we will be attending the academy. We were excited and anxious to finally be moving forward. Upon arriving at the academy, we quickly found out it would not be an easy road to become an agent. We hit the ground running. What started as a quiet bus ride with nervous strangers from across the country, and one Puerto Rican, was quickly concluded by a briefing from Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Godson. He let us know that there wouldn't be any shortcuts in the academy and that it would be a tough road. But if we really wanted it, it could be accomplished. After the short briefing, we were thrown off the bus to our first encounter with the Border Patrol agents that would help shape us to the team and family we are today. They spared no time in screaming and giving instructions. Even though they were simple, we still managed to look like chickens with severed heads. We couldn't count past 10 or stand in alphabetical order. We have come a long way since then. We have learned the law, Spanish, tactics, first aid, and alphabet, and so much more. We have many people to thank for scalping us into the team and family we are. COVID causing problems was a common occurrence. Through our training, we had many delays due to quarantines, shutdowns, some lasting as long as 3 weeks. We were confined to our rooms, getting boxed food, and spending more time away from our loved ones, while not getting any closer to graduation. Every day we would study, make note cards, and some of us finished every show that is available on Netflix. We lost some people that just couldn't handle being coped up in their rooms. But we that are here today never lost our will. We kept that motivation that we started with at the beginning and carried it on to each department. We have the operations department to thank for showing us discipline, uniformity, and operations that will carry for the rest of our careers. Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Godson had us marching no matter what the conditions were. He showed us how to have mental strength under stressful situations and not to break with silly things like 3-degree weather. Ops corrected us every time we failed to pay attention to small details, because the smaller the details are very important in our field of work. Ops helped us put our authorities to practice and showed us how to apply them to checkpoints, train checks, and other operations that we as agents will be asked to do. The operations department left us with a baseline of what to expect at our stations and the field. We would also like to thank the Spanish department. This class was a challenge, especially for those who do not speak Spanish, or as they are called here, non-nativos. Every week we had new vocabulary, new lessons, and new scenarios to learn. We started off with simple confrontations to iris stops and even learned to process in Spanish. This was not an easy task. So we want to thank all the nativos that sacrificed their time to help their fellow classmates with pronunciation and the general understanding of Spanish. I know some of us could be a little difficult. So thank you. To attorneys at the law department, we want to thank you for teaching us the authorities and laws that must be followed as federal agents. New information was thrown at us every day and just kept piling up every week. We made flashcards, took notes, and some of us practically rewrote the whole book in our binders. We made study groups and studied through the weekends and sometimes throughout the night. All of this to sit in front of a computer and still be nervous to hit the submit button. The sigh of relief when we all knew so well after seeing that passing grade felt amazing. Firearms and tactics familiarized us with all the lethal tools we had available in Border Patrol. We became faster and more efficient with these tools as we sent more and more rounds downrange. Not only did we become sharpshooters, but we were taught to make quick decisions. We learned how to escalate or de-escalate situations, when to shoot or not to shoot, and how to move tactically in deadly force situations. We have all the firearms and tactics instructors to thank for making us into tactically sound gunfighters. Even when we gave them the gray hairs or caused some loss of hair, they gave us all of the knowledge they could, and they did it well. Sorry, Mr. Laredo. After not driving for about 6 months, we were thrown behind the wheel of a unit and instructed to drive at high speeds while hitting curves, aiming for that apex and hearing over the radio that we were too wide or too short. This made us remember how to drive really quickly. Having to maneuver the unit through a labyrinth of cones and hearing a very distinct voice yelling, "You better not hit me, cones," had us nervous for our naval test. After we successfully passed these tests, we went into the fun stuff. Thank you to all the driving instructors that help us throughout the academy. Because of you, we can handle any terrain in a vehicle and be successful in our mission. And never forget, as Mr. Garza says, nutrition before the mission, baby. The physical training department changed all of us. Many of us thought we arrived here in good shape. We were proven wrong. Not just physically, but mentally. I never thought I could talk to myself so much and break so many mental barriers in just one run. On day one of PT, we all knew that our instructors weren't waiting for anyone. Mr. Martinez told us this ain't no love boat, over and over to remind us that we were there to work. It seemed like we had robots as instructors. They ran miles and miles with us every day of the week. We did so many lunges that we felt our legs were going to fall off. Then we would go out for a run. If we complained about our legs, there was always a bear crawl at the end to help ease the soreness. We heard Mr. Gaciano repeatedly say, "Don't worry, just keep on going, it'll go numb soon." Every day they pushed us to our limits and made us run right past them, literally. PT taught us how to defend ourselves in a fight, whether it be on the ground or standing. PT taught us how to use less lethal devices, learning to use the taser, PLS, OC spray, and more. We had to be exposed to them and to know how it feels if we were forced to use it on a person. We called these days the worst days of the academy. Feeling like our faces were burning off and getting the worst cramp in our lives will forever be engraved in our memories. We'll especially remember the smiles on our instructors' face as they exposed us to these tools. PT brought us together and made us a family through blood, sweat, and tears. They showed us that if one person falls in our group, we all fall. If we all want to get back up, we all pay. So a big thank you to Mr. Gaciano and Mr. Martinez for showing us that we are a lot stronger than we believe we were, that we can overcome any obstacle that is thrown at us, and nothing is given in this career. Class 1156, we have begun everything we need to be successful in our careers and will not be facing a new challenge. A challenge to carry on the duty and the honor of being a Border Patrol agent. We all know this will not be an easy task. We'll be tested every day in this job and be expected to perform at the highest of standards. We'll have to take on everything thrown at us with unwavering discipline and focus. We must be ready to handle the next day and the next. But don't worry. We are armed with all the knowledge and skills given to us by the instructors we have crossed paths with. We can push through every day and maintain the image of the Border Patrol. Class 1156 and all those present. I want to leave all of us with one more challenge, because I know we are never satisfied with the minimum. I challenge all of you to be more than a regular agent, but to be the agent that everyone strives to be. Throw yourselves at any opportunity that arises. Be the first to volunteer to do the dirty work or the work that no one wants to do. Learn as much as you can from other agents and everything that the Border Patrol has to offer. Make a name for yourselves. Make a name for our class. Never be satisfied and always make new goals and reach them. Honor first. And as we have said from the beginning, full speed, no stops. Class 1156 at a double time! Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Agent Gary. And Class 1156, you just keep continuing to impress. Very nice touch. It is my pleasure now to introduce you to Chief Patrol Agent Jason Owens.
I have the honor to introduce the Chief of the United States Border Patrol, and I'm going to give you his bio. Chief Rodney Scott assumed command of the United States Border Patrol on February 2nd, 2020, becoming the 24th Chief since its establishment on May 28, 1924. Chief Scott oversees domestic border security operations outside the ports of entry along our nation's borders, which includes more than 5,000 miles with Canada, nearly 2,000 miles with Mexico, hundreds of coastal miles, and our territories in the Caribbean. He proudly leads nearly 20,000 Border Patrol agents and professional staff across the country as they perform the Homeland Security mission. Chief Scott began his career with the Border Patrol on May 11, 1992, as a member of Class 252. His first assignment was to the Imperial Beach Station in San Diego sector, and throughout his 27-year career with the Border Patrol, Chief Scott assumed several leadership and specialized assignments at CBP headquarters in Washington, D.C., including Assistant Chief with the Office of the Commissioner, and then went on to promote as the Deputy Executive Director of the Office of Anti-Terrorism and Director of the Incident Management and Operations Coordination Division. In 2017, Chief Scott assumed the position of Chief Patrol Agent of the San Diego sector. Most recently, in 2019, Chief Scott served as the Acting Deputy Chief before being named Chief of the United States Border Patrol in 2020. Prior to his service in the U.S. Border Patrol, Chief Scott worked as a commercial pilot and studied aviation management, earning his commercial pilot certificate. He also graduated from the CBP Leadership Institute and the Naval Postgraduate School Executive Leaders Program. Chief Scott's married. He and his wife have 2 daughters. Now, he joins us remotely today by video because he was attending the funeral of our fallen agent, Mr. Urrutia, who succumbed to COVID several days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Scott.
Okay. Good morning. So I get started, I just want to give my most sincere appreciation to Chief Owens and the Academy staff for making this work. I apologize for not being there in person. It was inevitable that I couldn't make it today. But I wanted to make a message for you and just give you some encouraging words and really say thanks. But as I was sitting down kind of preparing these remarks, I started getting some flashbacks to when I was graduating from the Academy almost 29 years ago. And a big part of me was very proud of my accomplishment, and another part of me was pretty nervous about what was going to come next. You know, what's going to happen when I hit my station, what's the next phase of my training. But the thing I think I remember most about my Academy graduation was that the speaker just seemed to drag on and wouldn't stop talking. So I'm going to try to keep this short, but there are some important points I want to get across. First off is just a sincere congratulations. And I'm not talking to any trainees or graduates yet. Any parents that are out there watching this, that are participating today, you owe yourself a little pat on the back. It is not easy in today's society to raise a kid to an adult with integrity and a work ethic that can earn the opportunity to become a U.S. Border Patrol agent. So job well done to you first and foremost, and thank you for raising a good kid. And with that said, I also, of course, want to congratulate all of the trainees that are going to be graduating here today. It's not easy becoming a Border Patrol agent, and you're not completely done yet, but this is an awesome opportunity and you have done well. But I want you to pat yourself on the back a little bit too and think back at the choices that you made growing up that allowed you to pass the background investigation, that gave you a work ethic, that allowed you to demonstrate to the Academy staff that you not only have the core values that we demand in CBP, but that you have the skills and the abilities to be a successful Border Patrol agent. So job well done there. Secondly, I just really want to say thank you to a few people as well. And I want to start out with the Academy staff. Thank you for pouring your heart and soul into this next generation of Border Patrol agents and making sure that they were ready to face the challenges that lie ahead. And then each graduate, I want to thank you for deciding to step up and serve your country and step out and take on this challenging assignment, especially during some uncertain times. You, like only a couple of classes, many of us will never really understand what you went through. I also want to thank you for enduring the prison-like conditions that you had to go through during the Academy and the long separations from family and friends due to COVID. Again, that was beyond our control, but you stepped up to the plate and you endured through those challenges and you're here today. And I challenge you that 5-10 years from now, you're going to look back and you're going to decide that it was well worth it because this is a great job. We say that. The Border Patrol is a great job, and it is a lot of fun most of the time. But really what I want to focus on now is it's more than a job. We are all public servants, and you need to remember that. As public servants, the day you started, the day you showed up at your station before you even came here, some of you online, you took an oath of office. You took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and to carry out the duties you're assigned in a meaningful, vigilant manner. That's a pretty big deal. You're going to take that oath again today. I didn't get a chance to talk to you before you took it the first time, so we're going to touch on a few things right now. It's very important that you understand that that oath isn't a bunch of words that you say to get a job. That is a solemn promise between you and every citizen of the United States and your God that you are going to meet those conditions, that you are going to live to a higher standard. So I want you to just stop and think a little bit about what that means before you go on to this next level in your career, into your training. What does it mean to you? What does it mean? I want you to search down in your heart and make sure that you understand what that promise is and that you're firmly committed to keeping that promise for the rest of your life, or at least the amount of time you're taking a paycheck from U.S. Border Patrol. And I want you to understand this is voluntary. You are voluntarily committing to live your life to a higher standard, much more than the average citizen, and you're giving up part of self. From now on, the minute you pin on that badge and you put on a uniform, you have the title of U.S. Border Patrol agent. Your actions on or off duty will be seen as a Border Patrol agent and as law enforcement in general, not just as an individual. I'm going to touch on that in a little bit more in a minute, but that's key. And you have to, if you're going to step into this next level of training, you're taking this oath again, you have to know that you're committing to live by CBP's core values of vigilance, service, and integrity. We in the Border Patrol sum it up as honor first, and it's that simple. You are going to live by honor first. As I mentioned earlier, you're here today because you've earned our trust. With that said, I don't want you to focus on my trust or even the trust of your instructors anymore for the rest of this conversation. I want you to focus on public trust. I believe one of the biggest challenges facing law enforcement today is the declining trust that they have in that the public has in law enforcement. I'm counting on you. We're all counting on you to be part of the solution. But to be part of that solution, I think it has to be intentional. I firmly believe, and I think there's a lot of your instructors here that can prove it, you can do the law enforcement job, you can do Border Patrol's mission, and you can do it very, very well without being a jerk. But when you start telling somebody else what to do, giving commands, and making somebody else do things they don't necessarily want to do, unfortunately, human nature is you slide a little bit to that jerk side, if you will, sometimes. I challenge you to intentionally commit to not being that jerk, that you can carry out this job in a professional manner and you can do it consistently and you can do it safely. So how can you do that? I got a little homework for you. A couple things actually. Before you go to your station, consistent with taking that oath, I want you to stop and think about who you are as a person and what lines you will not cross. I want you to take an extra step and I want you to write it down. What are your core values? What's important to you? Who are you? If you want an example, mine's posted online. There's something about writing it down that makes it a little bit more real. And the other reason I want you to write it down is I want you to write it down and then store it somewhere. I want you to pull it out occasionally and look at it so you can hold yourself accountable and ask yourself if you're living up to your own standards. You also need to decide now how you're going to react when you get put into a difficult situation. And what I mean by that, it's pretty broad. But you went through firearms training, you went through defensive tactics training, and you did repetitive skills over and over again. Why? Muscle memory, so in a crisis you'll know how to react. I challenge you that ethical and moral dilemmas are no different. So I want you to think through, not just your tactics, but some of the situations you might get in within the first week, 2 weeks out in the field, or even longer. I want you to think about when an irate citizen gets in your face out in the field, or a checkpoint, or even at a coffee shop. How are you going to respond? How are you going to act? Walk through that scenario now. What about when you get assigned to a pretty slow area and there's no supervisor around and you could kind of convince yourself there's nothing going on? What does vigilance mean then? Think that through now. And then what if a peer, even a supervisor, tries to get you to violate policy? We'd like to hope that that never happens, but hope isn't a strategy. So you need to think now, how are you going to handle, how are you going to manage that situation going forward? I think I guarantee to you that it will not be a useless exercise. Think it through and think it through throughout your career often so that when you react instinctively, it'll be the right decision. And then last but not least, I have a little advice for you. It's kind of set for our times that we're in right now. Just stay out of the politics. Our mission is much bigger than you will hear anybody outside of this organization or even sometimes inside this organization define it as. Your mission is literally to protect all of America, every town, city, and state in America, by knowing who and what enters this country. That's the mission. You're not immigration police. You're not narcotics police. You are border security professionals. With that said, you're going to get mired down in the day in and day out, just like the rest of us do. And if you don't keep that in mind, that your mission is bigger than what you're doing each and every day, you can get wrapped up in this immigration mission or the politics of the day, the discussions in the media. What a judge or what a politician chooses to do with any individual after you've interdicted them while committing a crime, it's irrelevant. You've done your job. We've done our part of it. Try to do your best to stay out of the politics. With that said, one other thing, because this is important. You will, especially if you're going to South Texas, you will arrest hundreds and hundreds, probably, of what we would refer to as economic migrants for every one felon, or maybe even before you run into a known or suspected terrorist. It's still worth it. Day in and day out, the activity of many jobs, not just Border Patrol, the flow each day isn't what the critical mission is. The critical mission is being there to catch that felon, to catch that pedophile, to catch that terrorist. I kind of equate it to an airline pilot. Anybody can, I was a pilot before I got this job. You can train anybody to fly an airplane. Drones all over the place. You can have an autonomous aircraft. That pilot is getting paid to respond appropriately in an emergency when something goes wrong. And that's what we're on that border for every single day. I challenge you, once you're in the field, look around. There's not a single day United States Border Patrol agents aren't taking serious felons off the street. But there are thousands of others that may get released, may just get turned back, mixed in with that. Focus on the real threat and don't ever forget that what you do every single day matters to the safety of this country, and it matters a lot. We're counting on you. We're counting on you to maintain your integrity. We're counting on you to remain vigilant, and we're counting on you most of all that every day for the rest of your career to live up to honor first. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing where you guys take the U.S. Border Patrol next. Thank you.
At this time, we would like to recognize the section leaders of Class 1156. The section leaders of Class 1156 will be presented with the Border Patrol Academy Award for Leadership. Border Patrol agents Luke Berger and Briggs Farmer, please come forward. The section leader position carries with it a tremendous amount of additional responsibility, aside from the same strict training regime as the rest of the class. The Leadership Award commends the section leaders for their leadership, demeanor, and positive attitude. Thank you, agents. The Driver Training Award recognizes the graduate with the highest score in the driver training program. Border Patrol Agent Carlos Uribe Mora, please come forward. Today's recipient far exceeded the challenging requirements and expectations of a novice driver. His performance exemplifies the high level of attention to detail required to safely operate a motor vehicle during stressful situations. Thank you, Agent Mora. The Physical Techniques Award recognizes the graduate with the highest score in the Physical Techniques program. Border Patrol Agent Paul Delgado, Jr., please come forward. Due to the physical demands of the position, Border Patrol agents are expected to be in good physical condition. Today's recipient has exceeded these requirements, and their achievement sets an example for others to follow. Thank you, Agent Delgado. The Firearms Training Award is awarded to the graduate with the highest score in firearms training. Border Patrol Agent Charles Twitchell, please come forward. The award signifies that the graduate has earned the distinction of achieving the highest firearms qualification score while demonstrating efficiency with his service weapon. Thank you, Agent Twitchell. At this time, we would like to recognize the graduate with the highest academic achievement. Border Patrol Agent Alfonso Garay, please come forward. This award for academic excellence signifies that the graduate ranks #1 among their peers in operations, Spanish, and law. Their performance makes them highly deserving of the honor bestowed by the award. Thank you, Agent Garay. The Honor First Award is presented on behalf of the staff of the Border Patrol Academy. Salvador Ortiz, please come forward, sir. This award is given to the individual who embodies the guiding principles of honor and who has demonstrated through their actions a level of integrity and commitment that exemplifies the values of a Border Patrol agent. Thank you, Agent Ortiz. Our last award is the FLETC Directors Award. The Border Patrol Academy is a joint effort between the United States Border Patrol and the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. Working together, the two agencies provide the highest level of education available to law enforcement agents. Will Border Patrol Agent Luis Cardona please come forward? Agent Cardona was nominated for this award by his classmates, and the award is being presented by Mr. Robert Smoot, Program Specialist for the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. Thank you, sir. Please join me in giving the award recipients a round of applause. Well, next is the moment that you've probably been waiting for. Okay, this is the moment where you actually get a little bit closer to becoming agents. The graduating class will now be presented with their badge and credentials. This signifies that you have met all of the requirements to be a Border Patrol agent. I will now turn the podium over to Supervisory Border Patrol Agent Rohan Godson.
Good morning. My name is Supervisor Border Patrol Agent Rohan Godson. I had the distinct privilege of being lead operations instructor for class 1156. Graduates, please step forward as I call your name to receive your badge credentials. Eduardo Brega. Luke Berger. Federico Cabrero. Anthony Camarena. Luis Cardona Gonzalez. Carlos Casares. Colton Cruz. Paul Delgado Jr., Joint Agent Delgado on stage, is his father, Border Patrol Agent Paul Delgado Sr., 18 years of service in the Border Patrol. Alejandro Donovan, Joint Agent Donovan on stage is step for Border Patrol Agent Thomas R. Hammond, 21 years of service. Briggs Farmer. Sergio Fuentes. Alfonso Garay. Joint Agent Garay on stage, his mentor, Border Patrol Agent Assistant Chief Leticia Camarillo, 25 years of service. Jose Garcia Jr. Joby Garza III. Jose Garza IV. Lindsey Gleason. Michael Gonzalez. Roman Gonzalez. Joint Agent Gonzalez Stage's brother, Supervised Border Patrol Agent Roberto Gonzalez Jr., 14 years of service. Eric Herman. Leslie Hernandez. Carlos Uribe Mora. Omar Ishmael. Johnny Jimenez. Damon Johnson. Ivan Miranda Castillo. Joint Agent Castillo on stage is mentor, Border Patrol Agent Garrett London, 9 years of service. Arturo Munoz. Pedro Nunez Salinas. Salvador Ortiz. Jorge Orvidas. Joint Agent Orvidas on stage is mentor, Border Patrol Agent Christopher Cabrera, 19 years of service. Efren CS. Joint Agent CS on stage is mentor, Border Patrol Agent Daniel Crum, 13 years of service. Alejandro Quesnada. Hector Trullo. Charles Twitchell. Christian White.
Graduates, please stand and prepare for the oath of office.
Class, stand.
Class, only one thing left. Please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
Eduardo Barriga. Luke Berger. Enrico Caballero. Anthony Camarena. Luis Cardona. Carlos Cázares. Colton Cruz. Paul Delgado Jr. Alejandro Donovan. Briggs Farmer. Sergio Fuentes. Alfonso Garay. Jose Garcia. Joey Garza. Jose T. Garza.
Lindsay Gleason.
Michael J. Gonzalez.
Roman J. Gonzalez.
Eric Corbin.
Leslie Hernandez.
Carlos Uribe.
Omar Ismael. Johnny Jimenez. Diamond Johnson.
Ivan Miranda Castillo. Arturo Muñoz. Pedro Núñez. Salvador Ortiz. Jorge Yavides. Efraín Díaz.
Alejandro Solórzano Castañeda.
Hector Trillo. Charles Twitchell. Christian White.
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Class, congratulations.
Congratulations, class. Please be seated.
Class, seats.
In closing, I do want to say one more time how proud we are of you and the fact that you stuck it through during COVID. I know at times it got rough there for a while, and I want you to know that we never stopped trying and making it better for you, and that we are just so proud of you and your perseverance. So thank you very much. You should be very proud of yourselves. In closing, I want to thank the family and friends, those who are watching and those who could be here today for this very special moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Section leader, dismiss your session for the final time.
Class, stand. Center, base. Full speed outside. Left and six. Mark time. Mark. Left, 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 right. Hi-ho, Border Patrol. Hi-ho, Border Patrol. Early morning, ready to go. Early morning, ready to go. Lane in and stop the load. Lane in and stop the load. So early, so early, so early in the morning. So early, so early, so early in the morning. Home high in the sky. Home high in the sky. Border Patrol sitting high. Border Patrol sitting high. ATVs passing by. ATVs passing by. So early, so early, so early, so early in the morning.
All uniformed personnel, dismiss.
These are the agents that I go to work with. These are the agents that I go to work with. These are the agents that I hold the line with. These are the agents that I hold the line with. Left, left.